Hello and welcome to Courtney TV, the straight talking YouTube channel. Yes, Ronald Field, born in August 1946 in Epsom, Surrey, in a workhouse. Yes, so clearly a very tough upbringing from day dot. So much so that it led him into a life of crime. He became one of London's most noted and respected criminals in the underworld. Yes, he was the last man to be sentenced to prison with one of the Kray brothers. Yes, and so much so that they have written this selling on the shelf book, Nefarious. Okay, so sit back, it's all yours. Mr. Ronnie Field, thank you very much for coming on to the show, sir. How are you?
Very welcome. I'm very well, thank you.
Very much. Well done, sir. Gentleman to my right, and a big say in your book, Mr. Martin Knight, an award-winning author.
Thank you.
And you played a big part in writing the life and career of Ronnie
without Martin,
Field.
it wouldn't have been done. Without you, it wouldn't have been done.
Okay, so every story in this wonderful, juicy book, right, that is off to a flying start, I must say, Nefarious, has got a start and an ending to it, Ronnie, yeah? And I've done some homework, as journalists should do, and have to, and I want to go to your upbringing, yeah? And there's some serious, tough stuff in there, and you've had, you've blurted it out in the book for the viewer at home. Tell us a bit how it all started. You're the youngest of 13. And why it was so tough?
Youngest of 13. We had nowhere to go to live, so we went to I come out of the workhouse and went to me grand's in Cheam Village in Surrey. And in that house there was my granddad, my uncle Fred, cousin Jimmy, sister Dalla, sister Pat, Cicely, Billy, Ted and Peter. Two up, two down.
So much for this, yeah, how many bedrooms are there? 14?
Two.
Oh right, yeah, okay. so much for this correct house in these days, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us, and for the audience at home, tell us why it was so tough.
Well, Granny Field was well known for her brutality, not only to us, but really to anyone that displeased her. She was quite a fearsome woman. She enjoyed, I'm sure she enjoyed inflicting pain on people. She used to seem to get a kick out of it. I mean, my brothers got what it was to me because I was the youngest, and I rebelled. They rebelled and got put in homes. I rebelled, tried to kill my gran, tried to strangle her, but I didn't have the strength.
Right.
I was only about 14, 15 I suppose, but
Yeah.
a very skinny little runt of a kid. And she calmed down a bit after that, because she knew her time of ruling the roost had, her and my Uncle Fred, the time had come that they couldn't do it no more. I done my Uncle Fred with a brick out the bathroom window for assaulting one of my sisters.
Yeah.
Done him, got the brick on his head,
Yeah.
run down the stairs and kicked the granny out of him. Yeah.
So
And
you dropped the brick.
He left the house after that.
You dropped the brick on his head. Was he a violent man towards you as well?
Yeah, he was a violent everyone.
Yeah.
He was a big man. He was big. He was bigger than a bully. He was about 6'2".
Yeah.
Coleman.
Strong man and naturally.
Strong man, yeah, strong man. He used to have me up at 5 o'clock in the morning loading coal sacks up at Cheam Railway Yard, which isn't there no more, but we used to be up there and I used to have to go to school looking like a chimney sweep. And but that was the way it was,
Yeah.
You had to do your bit, otherwise they'd give you a clump.
You go to school in the same attire sometimes, having works, you should go in there.
Yeah,
Probably,
well, I only had one set of gear and that's what I had on.
That's what you had on,
Yeah,
yeah. So he was violent, much bigger than you. You were about 14 at this stage.
about 14, yeah.
What went through your mind? You must have had so much anger at the mistreatment that he's given you and your sister, and your gran respectively has given you.
Yeah.
You must have had such anger. You're clearly showing some signs of courage here, I think, because if you drop that brick and you mistime it, which can happen, they're in for a severe beating, but you built up the courage to drop that brick on his head.
Well, it went down quick because I went like that.
Yeah, you made it, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't just drop it. It went down hard.
You decided the time was the
He
time.
went straight down. He went straight down. I mean, there was no doubt. He went over. In fact, I thought he was dead for a minute. I was trying to think as I was running down the stairs what to do with him, but
yeah.
if he was later on in life, I'd have known what to do with him.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
But,
yeah.
I didn't know. But
He
he weren't dead. He was still breathing, and give him a good kicking.
Yeah.
And I went over non-such park then, out of the way.
Yeah.
I always used to go to non-such park, little chain park, non-such park.
Yeah.
And when I come back, my mum said he'd moved out, he'd gone, he'd left.
Okay. Now you endured other tough times. Tell us a story about the teacher. Was he a music teacher?
Science teacher.
Science.
Science teacher, yeah. He used to have this broom handle, chunk of a broom handle about 18 inches long, and he had the sole of a slipper, well, of a plimsoll. Had the sole of a plimsoll fixed to it. And so he could get a good swing with it with both hands. And I used to get that quite often.
Yeah.
He's always saying, well, your nails are dirty, your neck's, you're scruffy and all that. And I thought, anyway. I found out there was a carol concert at the church, which is just round the corner from me.
Right.
So I waited for him with a baseball bat. And when he come in, I done him. I come out of the churchyard, I went, you must have wondered what was happening. And I come out of the gravestones, balaclava on, first time I'd ever wore a balaclava, become an habit in the end. And I just tore into him, put him down, give him a good clump, and then give him a good kicking, and went.
What age were you then?
14, 15.
So you ran the same time. You've grown now. You've come from
I was
child,
I was
little
getting
boy.
violent. I was getting violent
Yeah.
then. I was getting violent.
You endured enough.
Yeah.
Time to play back. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought, I ain't having it no more. Not having it no more, and that's it. Well, he was a big man, he could have done me, but I think the bat equalled it up a little bit.
But going prior to this, psychologically, I read there somewhere that your dad had a bet. He was a tree fella. Yeah. Your dad had a bet with, I don't know, that they had a drink
Other
or
tree fellas,
other
yeah.
tree
And
fellas.
the Uncle Fred.
That he would fell a tree, and the bet was that it would miss you.
Well, what he done was he said that tree will fall there, and he paced it out. He said it will fall there, and they all had money on it. And he said, "I'll show you how confident I am." And he called me over. He went, "Stand there." So he didn't say no. So I stood there. Tree come down. It was supposed to have been the biggest one in Sheen Park. And when it hit the floor, I went back about 8 or 9 feet with the wind.
Right.
And my dad won his bet.
Like
Oh,
he
but
jeopardised his son's
I
well-being.
think I was crying, to tell you the truth. I had tears in my eyes or something like that.
How old was you then?
I wasn't all that old. I was only small. I can't really remember how old I was, to tell you the truth. I was in. Yeah, I was still at school. I was in long trousers, but in our house, you could wear short trousers up to you was 18. But yeah, I was in long trousers, so I must have been about 14 or 15, something like that. The incidents were close together.
Yeah. And going prior to that, once you come home as a little boy, I think something like a 7 or 8 year old, and your gran said just quite calmly, "Oh, your mum's passed away."
Yeah, she did. Yeah, I come walking in from the park with my dog, and she said, "Oh, by the way," because my mum had been in hospital a long time. She suffered with her health, something terrible. She had elephantitis, and she had skin cancer on her legs. It was terrible. She said, "Oh, your mum's died. Your mum died this morning." So I thought, I went outside. There would be no comfort there. And one of Mrs. White's daughters was walking across the road. And I said, she said, "Hello, Ron." And I went, "All right." I said, "My mum's just died." She went, "Oh, bloody hell, sorry," she said. She, "Come indoors." So I walked across the road. She only lived across the road, and these old wooden houses that used to be there, they're gone now. And when I crossed there, she gave me a cup of tea or something, and a sandwich. And then she went out, she come back, she said, "Your mum's not dead." I said, "Yeah, she is." My gran said, "I just asked you, Gran." And she didn't say why she said it, but I suppose just to get a G, you know. She was just sort of that way inclined.
Brutal mistreatment of trust, physically, emotionally, from a very young age.
Yeah.
And what sort of mistreatment was your Uncle Fred inflicting?
Well, he had a big old belt which was cut from the strap that goes underneath an ox, the big buckle on it.
Yeah.
And he used to wield that. If the buckle hit you on the head, it'd knock your spark out, which it often did. Not so much me, but my brothers. They got more of it than I did. I got whacked a few times with it, but they used to get it every week. And he was a big, strong man.
You could see what's coming for you then, can't you? If not so much you, he's going to wade in on you later. And how about the mistreatment of your sisters? What sort of abuse have they endured at his hands?
Well, one of my sisters was quite badly assaulted by him. That was one of the reasons.
That was the time to press the go button.
That's right. Yeah, that's what started it off.
So you're clearly coming of age. You've endured enough, and I must say, and I think anybody at home, if you've got half an heart, you've got to be most sympathetic with you. That's a tough upbringing. I mean, most people at home, I come from a tough family, but a loving family. You know, really bathed and babied. I was a baby for 4 years and 1 or 6, and I look at the things I used to take for granted. It's only as you go on in life and you discover how what good families take for granted ain't necessarily so. And so I've got to sympathise with you there, mate. So this coming of violence now, that obviously this is you go into everyday life. So now, example, somebody in a pub's going to pick on you at some point, or they're going to have a go, and this has set you up for a no-nonsense future, I take it, yeah?
Yeah. I don't like to take bollocks for anyone. I have to retaliate. That's the way I am. I just I don't lash out so much. I plot and plan now.
Yeah. Well, but there's clearly like all the way through your life, you haven't been an instigator, but you won't tolerate you had this abusive upbringing, and as you go into sort of now your late teenage years as a young man, give us an instant that somebody tried it on there and you said, well, Uncle Fred's tried that, mate, and he didn't do too good. So give us one incident in your life where that happened.
Well, there was a fellow used to go in the Red Lion, and he thought he was a bit of a tough nut, and he done me. He was a tough nut. He done me, I thought, well, I can't have that. So I went back with a baseball bat, rounders bats in them days.
Yeah.
And I left it outside the pub, and I put my head through the door and called him out. And he came out, he said, oh, you want some more? I went, yeah. I said, but I've got this for you. And before he could even move, I whacked him a few times with it.
Yeah.
As you do. He went down, stamped on his face, on his jaw, side of his jaw, I think that broke.
Yeah.
I gave him a good kicking. And to tell the truth, I never see him no more after that. He didn't hang around the village anymore like he used to, you know what I mean? He definitely didn't go in the Red Lion.
You levelled him up. Who was the instigator of that row? Was he the instigator?
He didn't like me. I don't know why he didn't like me.
So he picked on you, did he?
He just picked on me, yeah.
All right, so
There are people like that about it.
You got Uncle Fred treatment, give or take. Different mode of weapon, but same treatment.
They just think they can do things to people. But he couldn't do it to me. I wouldn't have it.
So this.
And if you're still out there and still alive, I'd love to meet you again. I just thought I'd put that bit in.
All right. I don't know where to go with that. I think I'll leave that to the imagination for you if you're at home. Just before we move on, so that's got you through to your teenager, and you're no nonsense a man, and I'm sure beyond this is going to come a reputation. I was bringing in Mr. Martin. Like Martin, you're an award-winning author. I'm going to ask you mostly sort of more sports books. You've done probably the most famous. You've written with George Best, the most famous footballer. arguably the world's ever seen. You've touched on a couple of books, sort of maybe on crime, on the Cobbles, Hooli Fan, Gypsy Joe, but you've done light-hearted books like Battersea Girl and stuff like that. What was your thought and feeling when you was approached to write this book with Ronnie, yeah, into what is a serious criminal underworld figure and book?
Well, I always, so I grew up in a time when the Krays were on trial, the Richardson trial, Harry Roberts, the train robbery. I was always sort of quite fascinated, Freddie Foreman. So I was always quite fascinated by that era of crime, and I always sort of regretted, or not regretted, but I always wanted to write a book from someone from that period.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's not many left. I think Ronnie and Fred, probably the only two, or Eddie Richardson's still around. Del, who's a good friend of mine, was an admirer of a book I wrote called Battersea Girl, which was about my grandma's 100-year life. And he introduced me to Ron 20 years ago or more.
Yeah.
Ron won't remember it, but I remember it. And Del was trying to put us together then.
Yeah.
Because he thought Ron had a good story, and he thought that I could write a good book. But it never happened then. Ron was busy. He hadn't been out that long. I think Ron was busy living his life rather than wanting to write about it. And then we met up through you and Jimmy and Wally and Del about a year and a half now, is it, Ron?
Yeah, about a year and a
Could
half.
even be 2 years ago. And I heard Ron telling some stories. He told me a couple of stories. I thought, this bloke's quite interesting, you know.
Yeah.
And then he came on to your show and did a podcast, which was an hour and a half long or something. And
Yeah.
I thought, my God, this bloke has got a story. You know, I didn't know half of it.
Yeah.
I didn't know any of it really. And we got on very well, didn't we, Ron?
Yeah,
we
very
chatted
well.
a few
Yes.
times.
Still do.
Yeah, well, I hope so.
Yeah.
We've never hit the
And,
fire much with us, but
You know, so we decided to go ahead with it. We got interest from a major publisher straight away, which, you know, was a very pleasant surprise. You normally have to hunt around for a publisher.
Yeah.
And we did sessions in the club that Ronnie uses. Ronnie would go through his story, and then of course when this horrific childhood bit came out, it sort of, you know, really resonated with me. I just thought, you know, God, this guy's had a tough old life, you know.
Yes.
And you know, he underplays it a little bit. I mean, it was horrific living with that woman and that man. They were both monsters by all accounts.
Exactly what it was, very good.
And I just thought, you know, it was such a strong part of the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and so that's where we're at today. We talk about old, ageing criminals, and not many left. Let's just touch on the late Dave Courtney. Played a big part in why you're here today, because you very nearly wouldn't be at this table telling the tale if it weren't for Dave Courtney.
that's very true. We was having a bit of tear up as we usually did with the screws.
Yeah.
I suddenly went over. I was having an heart attack. I didn't know I was having a heart attack.
Yeah.
I just went over and was in a lot of pain. But they didn't stop hitting me. And Dave come through towards me. You've got to remember, you've got to think there's all people fighting everywhere.
Yeah.
He got through to me, and he sort of put himself across me, and they was hitting him then. And then he sort of half dragged me and pulled me across the floor to his cell door. And we got in there. Of course, they didn't want to come in there because they only come through one at a time. And it all sort of quietened down. I was took out to hospital, heart attack, and the unit was locked down again, so they still didn't get out themselves.
If no doubt though, if you had a serious heart attack and if they carried on pummeling you and beating you and fighting, with the stress and adrenaline that fighting brings alone, and the condition you're in, there's a really good chance you wouldn't have made it without Dave.
No, I wouldn't have made it. No, I definitely wouldn't have made it. No, I wouldn't have made it. They'd just carried on beating me.
Yeah.
Because things get done. They get away with things in them units which no one ever knows goes on. You know what I mean? Because you don't often in a normal prison, they go, oh, Finger's going out today, and everyone bangs it. I say, I'll see you later. In a unit, no one goes out. They're all there for years and years and years.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Well, I can't understand that, but I'm sort of trying to draw up a picture. I said it's a different, it's prison and prison. You go to
Yeah.
places like Fulton, you go to places like that, totally different ball game. Now we go backwards to go forward slightly. So you've done a bloke with a baseball bat and the red line, and you jumped on his jaw, and you've endured this violence from a young age. So you now got a reputation, and you was approached by legendary gangster, some quoted as the Don of Don, Joey Pyle. At this time, you build a reputation, and he liked you. You met in a local pub, and this is where you formed his lifelong friendship with Joey Pyle. Tell us a bit about that, please.
Yeah, I was in there having a drink. I was underage, but I was in there. Everyone used to drink underage in them days. And he sent me a drink over, so I went over. And I said, oh, all right, Joe? And he went, yeah, all right. And he said, you want to go to work? And I thought to myself, well, he don't want his garden done or nothing like that. So I said, yeah, I'll have some work. I hadn't done nothing, really. Nothing, nothing that I knew he was offering me. And I'd done that little job for him. And from then onwards, I was with Joe.
So you was you was noted, yeah. I won't use the word notorious, but I'll use the word noted as being a blagger.
Yeah, I was an armed robber.
You were an armed robber.
Yeah.
Now, for a person at home, this is what I want to know, and I'm sure a viewer at home wants to know. You go 9 to 5 work, you do whatever you do. You're in accounts, you're working the bakers, you're a Coleman of the old day, you're now a computer wizard, whatever. And the biggest sort of pressure you'd endure is don't upset the boss at the works do, or don't be late and you have a big meeting on, etc., etc. Now you're going to work, yeah, your set of overalls on, you're going to work. Explain to the person at home what adrenaline must be going through. You're going on a black job, you're trying to get, say, let's say of today's money, yeah, equivalent, you're trying to get 250 grand, you've got a shooter in hand, you know if you're caught, serious amount of prison you're going to get.
If you don't get shot.
If you don't get shot. So all of these things factored. Explain to the person at home who's never lived this adrenaline rush, what was it like when you were at work?
It's a rush that you can't explain to anyone. I should imagine you could explain it to a junkie with the rush they get from taking drugs. But it's an adrenaline rush like you've never had before. And it starts about 3 days before you're going to do the work you're going to go on.
Really?
Yeah.
So it starts with butterflies and it builds up to...
Yeah, but
to
real
real
eagles, yeah.
Yeah. And at what stage do you start wind down? And how do you wind down? So you just finish your job.
You start spending, that's how you are.
You start spending.
Yeah.
And you're happy.
Yeah, you're very happy. But you can't spend too much because they're looking for people spending lots of money. Well, they do, don't they? Who's going around? Who's got a new motor? Who's got this and all that? I mean, people say the old Bill's silly, but they definitely ain't silly.
Oh,
They'll never be able to stop that. They're stupid. They're nasty. They're evil, but they ain't stupid.
Or just like football leagues, you have low levels and you have high level police at that level, and I'm sure they're anything but stupid. Now, you got nicked 3 times in your career, proper nicked. I mean, arrested probably, gazillions of times, well, not gazillions, but lots of times arrested, no doubt, but actually arrested and charged 3 prison sentences. I think the first one dated back in, was it Leeds?
Leeds, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, on this one, we left because I'd blown the door off. I shot the door off, and I was told that there was a counter behind there. There's a plate in front of it. So when I shot the door off, I don't know if you've ever fired a 12 bore, but it's sawn down. It's a very powerful weapon.
Yeah.
And number 4 shot is one of the biggest.
Yeah.
And it sort of blew most of the door to bits. but the pellets and the splinters from the door went through and hit 4 women. Hit them in the legs
Right.
because I aimed down at the lot.
Yeah.
So I've always regretted them women getting hurt. People say, "Oh yeah, you say that," but I did regret hurting them. They weren't their fault. They weren't supposed to be there. They were supposed to be there, but they were supposed to be a big wooden counter in the
Yeah.
front of them. But all there was like a countertop. So they all got shot.
It was your fault, but not intentional. No bad
Oh,
intent.
definitely my
Yeah,
fault. I
no
pulled the
bad
trigger,
intent,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you paid the price for that. The 12-year
Well,
sentence.
I've got 10 years for each woman that got shot. I've got a few 12s.
It run concurrent, did it?
Yeah. A couple of 9s,
Yeah.
6 and a 3.5. I don't know what they flung the 3.5 in for, but
Yeah.
it was there. It come to 90 odd years altogether.
Yeah.
But I had to do 12 out of it.
12. You served 12. Yeah. Yeah. So you've explained the adrenaline rush. Yeah. The glory side of it. Yeah. Yeah. People have got unintentional. You've always regretted that. You know, it's
I regret
it's an
everybody I
accident.
hurt
Yeah.
through my younger years. Yeah, I do, yeah.
But explain the other side. Now you're leaving the court and you're going to do 12 years. So you get the highest part of the career. What's the lowest? What's it like just going down and knowing you're going to serve at least a 12 stretch in high security prisons? Explain that.
No, you're gutted. You're nicked, aren't you?
Yeah.
You know you're going away, you're going to be in there. You ain't going to get no early parole or nothing like that. You know they're going to send you to Parkhurst, usually Parkhurst, but I was up north. So I got sent to Armley and Elmley, and then to, on the way back, they come and moved me one day and I was in strange ways, and I was on my way to Parkhurst, stopped off at Wandsworth, went across on the ferry when the ferry wasn't supposed to sail because the sea was too rough.
Right.
They took us across, got to Parkhurst, 2 o'clock in the morning. Screwing reception, there was 2 screws there. One of them said to me, he went, "You must be quite important, Fields." I went, "Yeah, why's that?" He said, "There's some people to meet you." So I thought he meant old Bill, you know, but it was one of Reg.
Oh, right.
One of Reg were there, 2 o'clock in the morning, out
Oh.
of their cells, top security prison.
Really,
It's
special
unbelievable,
treatment, and
isn't
it's a
Yeah,
bit like who you know. So
yeah.
so here is clearly a friendship formed with the Krays, which we'll come on to that later.
Well,
Martin.
that was only there because of Joe. Joe had asked him to meet me and look after me.
Yeah, yeah. So Joe's introduced, and then the friendships formed, which we'll
That's right, yeah.
come on to the Krays later. Martin, you were in the media world, and you went about your business. How would you see the rushes, the adrenaline, the disappointment? I'm sure you've had disappointments with business failings, but that's probably as bad as it gets. But how would you see the adrenaline rush? So maybe you've sold a successful business, that's an adrenaline rush. How would you compare that to Ronnie's putting his balaclava on with a shotgun and that adrenaline, knowing you could maybe get 12 years at any given time, or 200 or 300 grand?
I can't really imagine it. It's not the world I live in. So.
No. So that's what I'm saying is,
I would shit myself. You know,
Yeah.
I couldn't. I didn't know it was going in the bank anyway.
well, I think because of people like Ronnie, maybe.
No, not even that. Not even that.
We're gonna. This is why.
They don't
This
make
is
you
the
feel very
fascination.
comfortable, do they?
No, this is the fascination. This is why people. Right, but I'm going to come to some of that later. But this is why we purchase, we read, with great.
Yeah, this is why people are interested.
Yeah, exactly that.
It's a world that they hear about but wouldn't dare or dream of getting involved in.
But a lot of them would like to.
Yeah, some people would.
They would, yeah, they just ain't got the bottle for it.
Well, but that's the defining factor, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like we watched the heavyweight title fight of the weekend, and a lot of people would like to go and get 85 million, but who's got the hard work, the audacity, the balls, and the skill
Yeah.
set to do it?
I think
And you had some of those,
I'd go in the ring with Tyson Fury.
but nobody would watch it.
No one would watch it. I'd just fall down.
Yeah, so nobody would watch it, then there wouldn't be no 85 million. So it's easy, like we do this and do that, but in science,
Oh, I thought they'd get the 85 million in.
Anyway.
Whoever.
oh, yeah, anyway, yeah. But I
Yeah.
mean, you know, there's a
Yeah.
fight of the century is what it was. But so back onto now. I'll ask you you finish your 12-year sentence, and there's another chunk of prison comes up. So what defines you from not retiring, having done 12 years, and how's that affected your family outside, their marriage, etc.?
No, marriage is always marriage. Most prisoners doing long-term sentences, their marriage always finishes just before they come out. And I see it so many times. But you always think, oh, poor sod, it won't happen to me anyway, you know what I mean? But it does.
Yeah.
It does. It happens.
And the retirement, has this come in your mind, having done 12 years, you're back to work, because you get nicked for an attempted job, I think, in the airport, Gatwick?
Gatwick, yeah. Gatwick.
So you're back with your overalls on?
No,
You haven't retired
no,
yet? Right, okay.
No,
At this stage?
I should have done. I shouldn't have gone on that bit of work. It was taking too long, and it had to come on top. It had to come on top.
Yeah.
But what we didn't know, it was already on top.
Yes.
They was already there every
Yeah.
day, waiting for us. They knew what our motors were, the ones we had pugged up. They knew them. Always surprised me because they never took the guns away out of the motors. They knew they were there,
Yeah.
but they never took them, and they never disarmed them. So we used to go there every morning, get the tools out, sit there waiting for a phone call to say the diamonds had landed and the bloke's on his way, because it was one geezer picking up £10 million worth of diamonds in
Yeah.
an ordinary car, in an ordinary saloon car, and then going to drive them up to wherever it was, London or Hatton Garden, I suppose.
Yeah.
We was going to relieve him of them.
And they would have been your diamonds?
Yeah, his hands in the air, hands in the air. They come steaming out of everywhere. Get on the floor, get on the floor. Well, I was sitting in a car, and I just put my hands on my head, and just sat there. And because I come up and banged on the window with the barrel of my Decla. He went, wind the window down, wind the window down. And I just shook my arm and you wind it down. He went, wind it down, wind it down. You wind it down. I knew it, but as soon as I put my hand down to wind the window down, he would have shot me.
Excuse to shoot you?
Yeah, it was an excuse to shoot me.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was going to shoot John as well, Johnny Foley. They told us afterwards. We were so lucky, we were supposed to go that day. I think they got fed up with us going to work.
So they were a rough crowd of policing. If the youngsters, many youngsters wouldn't remember owning the Sweeney, that was a bit close to where it was, I suppose, eh?
Yeah. The real Sweeney ain't as nice as them ones on the telly, that's for sure.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It was that and a bit more brutal.
Yeah, I didn't see many Georges.
Yeah. So that's your second sentence, conspiracy to commit theft of the airport, which was what, 7 years?
3.5.
3.5 years.
You've done your prison. You've come out. Things have moved on, and we'll go to your final incident of arrest. It's with one of the Kray brothers, Charlie Kray. Ronnie, you formed friendships over the years through Joey Pyle with Reggie and Ronnie, and
Charlie.
And you have this incident with Charlie. It's an intriguing sort of story, really. I look at it and potentially see it as entrapment today. Explain a bit how what happened.
Entrapment. Well, Charlie's boy died. Charlie's boy had cancer, I think, something like that. Cancer or leukemia.
Yeah.
And he died, and they put on we all put on do it at Fairfield Zoo. A few well-known personalities, come up and done something for nothing. Even if it was only standing there talking.
Yeah.
Howard Marks come and said a few words and all that. A few well-known actors. They're that well-known, I can't forget their names. And we went up to the bar afterwards, and Charlie was talking to the three geezers, and he called me over. He said, "I'd like to meet some friends of mine from up north. Fatty Brian, Jack, and what's the other geezer now? Jack, Brian, and can't forget the other ones.
Yeah.
And went over and had a chat with him, and they said they wanted a load of cocaine. Well, we didn't have no cocaine, believe me, no, I don't even take cocaine.
Yeah.
But they wanted a load, and Charlie had promised them a load. So he's called me over to help him spoof them out of their deposit. So we arranged to go up north to meet these geezers. No, sorry. I went away. We left. We just chatted and talked. Then Charlie phoned me up. He said, "Them fellas from up north want us to go up and see them." So I said, "I don't want to really go all the way up Newcastle." He said they're going to pay for the hotels and fly us up there and all that, and give us a few quid. Well, Charlie was always skint, so anything that did him a few quid,
Yeah.
he would do it. No disrespect to Charlie, everyone gets skint.
Yeah.
You can skint yourself. I expect you have as well.
Yeah, of
Everyone
course,
gets
yeah.
skint.
I ain't a million miles from it now.
Yeah,
Still nearly there.
nor am I. If anyone's listening.
Yeah, anybody's listening.
Yeah. So we went up there and met them, and they went into this hotel, and lots of young cocktail waitresses running around, and women bar staff. Everyone's.
They put on a show for you then?
Well, everyone in the hotel was a cosser and set for us.
Oh, you didn't know that?
All the waiters, the bar
Oh,
staff,
right.
it was all old Bill. Everyone.
For the young ladies and all that,
Yeah,
all police,
all old Bill. Yeah.
yeah.
And promised us this, promised us that. So anyway, we come away from there, and they phoned us up. Could we pick up and deliver 2 kilos of cocaine? So I said to Charlie, I can't get 2 kilos of cocaine. I said, I know someone down here who's got it. All you've got to do is go and get it, and they trust you to bring it up. So I thought, well, so what are we going to get out of it? So we're getting a few quid out of it. So parked the car in the car park at the Crown at Malton, left the boat open, went and had a couple of pints, a couple of bonkers, and left it about half hour. I mean, they must have been waiting there. They put the stuff in my boot. I went out. Off I drove. Next day we went up to meet the Northerners.
Yeah.
Give them the stuff. Walked into the place. I got a carrier bag with 2 kilo coke in it. At that time, that was about 60 odd grand, I suppose.
Yeah.
64 grand. Yeah. And we went out. They asked us to come out into the car park. Went into the car park, out in a big briefcase, chock full of money. He said, "You want to count it?" I said, "I don't fancy sitting out here counting all that lot."
Right.
I said, "It's all there, isn't it?" He said, "Yeah." I thought, "Well, if it ain't, we'll be back."
Yeah.
And done the swap. Me and Bob got in the car, driving home, well pleased with ourselves. Well, I said, "Well, have a proper drink tonight, Bob." Yeah. Pulled into a garage to get some petrol. He wanted some fags. He had no money. He said, "Can I take a score out of that?" That's the only score they didn't get back. He took the score out of the bundle, got himself 40 fags, and put the change in his pocket. He didn't put it back in the bag.
All right.
And just going to drive away. They all popped up again from everywhere, machine guns and that. Get on the floor, get down here, get down here. And I said, "I'm not laying down there." Because I think, "Get on the fucking floor." I said, "I can't lay down there." He went, "Why not?" I went, "It's all greasy." Put a nice pair of strides on.
Yeah.
I said, "I'll go over there." He went, "Get on the fucking floor." So I just started ambling over.
You know it was on top. You know it was inside
Yeah,
at this time. Did you know it was inside job at this time?
No, we
No.
didn't. No.
Right.
No, didn't know that for a couple of days. And I laid down, as you do, just to get any sense. And they came along, took the gun away. Can't think what it was now. It wasn't a shotgun, it was a handgun. I took the handgun, I took the gun away, and went to some police station out of North London, I think it was. And that was it. We were nicked. And the next day, they're bringing me out of this cell. And Bob's sitting outside, being questioned. And he gets mouthed to me, "Charlie's nicked." So I don't know. So then I thought, "I don't know about Charlie." Right, but he
Yeah.
was there.
Yeah.
Then we started working things out and tumbled in where we see their statements.
It was all, they
That
were all
the
there.
three Northerners were all poxy old Bill.
Now you're unlucky not to get really. That's entrapment. And they've led you in.
Oh,
they've asked you.
no, they even supplied the coke, so
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
got to be entrapment, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, exactly that. Not many people own though.
Judge
See
the
that.
thing now.
I remember a famous case, totally different method of crime. Do you remember Martin, the Rachel McCall murder, and Colin Stagg
Yeah, Colin
was
Stagg,
about
yeah.
to be done for the most brutal murder in the UK at the time.
Yeah.
Man's life would have been completely ruined and over, and the judge at the last minute ruled this is entrapment, and all the crowd thought he was guilty. Well, it turned out later on by DNA he wasn't.
Yeah,
No, he wasn't
He
guilty.
definitely wasn't. So just to give the viewer at home some insight to how the old Bill can go to work, and
Lucky they never hung him, wasn't it?
well, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. It was very well. Just you may as well be hung to be tarnished with that reputation, eh?
It was a nonce, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To come out with Charlie Kray yourself went down as people looking as part of, arguably the drug dealers, and you never sold a drug in your life. It wasn't
No.
your mode of crime, yeah.
Yeah.
So there you
Well,
go. So, I
Robert.
mean,
Well,
exactly. So there you have it. That's potentially, but it's nice to see the other side of the story at least. And just for the there's a cat and mouse game, but for the viewer at home, how good did these old Bill go undercover? They're very, very clever. They do.
Oh,
You
these
were job
were,
known.
these were clever.
I mean, you're streetwise lads, putting them
Brian,
mildly.
Fat Brian,
Yeah.
he just got rumbling brasses. All right, It was all expenses,
All
wasn't it?
expenses,
It was
yeah.
all expenses.
Yes, he's right.
Didn't stop buying champagne and vodka and everything. I don't know how they got away with it.
Yeah.
Nice hotel, you know, we was in, all paid for by Her Majesty's government, I suppose, or the old bill, well, same thing. And yeah, they were very good. They were very good. In fact, one of them got so drunk with us that night he bashed up the cab driver.
Oh, so it's
Now that really convinced me. I thought, well, they got
yeah.
to be all right.
Well, exactly. I don't know.
So that could have been a setup, couldn't it?
It could well have been, because he did not take an hide in the gazer. Well, it looked like he was taking an hide.
Yeah, well, exactly. But,
Yeah,
but have you ever seen the movie Donnie Brasco? For the viewer at
Yeah.
home, how convincing was Donnie Brasco in the movie? You see,
remember.
and he's an American. He goes in with the mob, which is the
Al Pacino.
American equivalent. Yeah.
Who's the star in it?
Is it Al Pacino? I can't remember. Donnie Brasco, but he plays this American. I can't remember off the top
Yeah,
of my head.
I remember it now.
But it's a
yeah.
massive
Yeah.
film.
Yeah,
But he
Pacino.
goes undercover, and they're totally convinced that he's one of the boys. You know, so he done the
puts
mob
them all
and
away.
puts them all. Yeah, give them all about 200 years between them or
Yeah,
something silly.
another Bertie Smalls.
Yeah, is that another Bertie Small? So what brought the curtain down? That's it. Your final, you and Charlie get sentenced. You do 9 years. What brings the curtain down? That's it. I'm over. I'm out of this. Is it an age thing? Is it a reflection thing?
Well, I just thought myself out. I can't keep doing that. I mean, doing birds all right for youngsters, but when you're my age and you don't never get a small sentence, well, I suppose the 3.5 is a small sentence, but I've seen people hang themselves doing a 2, you know what I mean?
Mm. Oh.
But I thought I'd had enough of this, and I just had to think of a different way of earning a living.
Yeah.
So
And
you joined the police force.
join the police force, yeah, I thought there's plenty of funds there. Well, they're always getting backhanders, aren't they?
Getting loads of pension and sick pay, aren't they? And stress pay, yeah.
Well, I know a couple of old Bill, and they can't believe how much they're paying them now. They're sick pay.
Yeah.
Lump sums they get for this and lump sums they get for that. They don't get shoe allowance anymore. They don't do no walking, do they?
No, the shoe leather as they used to call
Yeah.
it. One place would once referred to it as shoe leather work. I don't think they do a lot of that anymore.
No.
So that's
I
they
just
brought
like
the
it to be
curtain.
known that I haven't got a thing hatred against the police. Just in case there's anyone driving around out there who thinks I ought to be nicked.
Oh, right, okay. Well, it's what it is. A cat and mouse game. You
Yeah.
won plenty, you lost some, yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
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 So, Martin, what would you say if somebody out there thinking this book's often out there racing and doing really well, it's sprinted out there, it's doing great. If it continues to be a massive book, as is Ronnie's a massive underworld figure, if it continues, what would you say to the people that think, well, you're making money on the back of crime, or you get success on the back of crime? What would your word be to that?
Well, one, we don't know whether it's going to make any money for it.
Yeah.
I don't see it as a, you know, it is a true crime book, but I also see it as an important social history book.
Yeah.
You know, it's about a man's life. And it just so happens that he chose that way of life, that career as an armed robber. But I think it's a very relevant social history book.
I agree. I put that question playing almost devil's advocate, if you like. I mean, I didn't like Peter Sutcliffe, but I watched, and I don't like innocent people getting hurt or killed, but I still watch Yorkshire Ripper documentaries.
Yeah.
Example.
Yeah.
And many people buy serial killer books, and Ron's not a serial killer. He went to work. He had a very, very tough upbringing. He found a way. He found a niche. That's what he done.
I found something I was good at.
You found something he was good at. What would you say for the young wannabe criminal out there that wants to take any sort of path like you would take, and what message would you give the young wannabe criminal out there?
Don't do it. There's nothing makes laying on your bed for 23.5 hours a day looking at the ceiling on your own worthwhile. The boredom, if you're quite a strong person, if you're doing a lot of burning, you're a double A and you're never getting out yourselves, the boredom is terrible. You can only go to the library so many times a month, you can only have so many books. You know,
Yeah.
it didn't have to be a snout baron in the nick, it had to be a book baron.
Yeah.
How did you fill your day though? You're in a cell for 23.5 hours.
I used to read, I used to
Yeah,
swap.
but if you only had one book, or
Yeah, but we all used to swap amongst each other, even though it wasn't allowed.
no.
You weren't allowed to swap books.
So over 23 years, you must have read a lot of books.
I have read a lot of books, yeah. Not bad for somebody who can't read, is it?
Yeah, well, doing that sort of
Well,
time.
I remember
No,
you telling me it's in the book as a kid. He started reading Enid Blyton. Have you heard of Enid Blyton?
I read
Yeah.
every one of them, yeah. The Famous Five and all
Famous
that.
Five, and she
Yeah.
wrote Noddy and stuff like that. I don't
Yeah,
know what it
yeah,
was.
I've heard of Enid Blyton before my time, but yeah.
He said to his teacher, "Can I take this home?" And she said, "Yeah." He was quite pleased that he's shown an interest. And the next day he came back and said, "Can I have another one?" She said, "Well, are you telling me you read the whole book?" He said, "Yeah." And she didn't believe him, you know, give him that look they do. And he had another one, brought it back and said, she said, "Well, you read that as well?" The next night, and he said, "Yeah." And she said, "What?" So she flipped it open. She said, "Well, what happened on the bus?" Tested him out.
There she did,
And
yeah.
he said, "Whatever happened on the bus."
Yeah.
And then she knew then.
Yeah, she was quite.
So
it was a he.
He, sorry.
Mr. Barton, his name was. He must be dead and gone now. Very immaculate man. I think he must have been. I think he was a fighter pilot or something. But most of our teachers were ex.
Did you hit him on the head? Did you hit him on the head?
No, he was all right. He was a nice man.
Yeah, so yeah, we've had a good old natter, haven't we? And that's the message out there to the young criminal.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Joey Pyle, you was his right hand man.
I wasn't his right hand man, but he never had a right hand man really.
How would you
Yeah,
describe
close-
yourself in his circle?
Close friend.
Close friend. You're
Very
close friends with Joey. Very close friend of Joey Pyle.
Yeah.
So much so that you was pallbearer at his funeral. Joey Pyle's he was on Reggie Cray's deathbed. These really is the highest criminal in Great Britain. You're a very close friend. You're a pallbearer, close friend to him. We said earlier at the start of this. Sadly, criminals of your era are dying out, and there's not many left, is there?
Sadly, no. We're all getting old and dying.
But well, I think you're looking very dapper, so very smart. You're looking very. I think you've got a good way to go yet. I think we've got a nice, a nice long way to go.
Yeah.
What when you meet your maker, how do you think he'll address you? You had a very tough up. Do you think he'll be understanding of the things you've done? Because I know you as a lovely gentleman. How do you think your maker will greet you?
Well, to start with, I say it doesn't matter whether I go up or down, and I've got friends in both places. So I think he'll treat me favourably. I've only been nasty in the criminal world. I've not been nasty to ordinary people, if I could help it. I think he'll treat me quite all right.
I think you're going upstairs. You know, I'm a Christian, and
I don't
we
think
have
I'll
got.
go upstairs, but
I think you will. I think we. Well, the thing is, in Christ, if we believe and when we believe, and we're Christians, what we do believe is, He will undo your book, and I don't mean literally this one, your book of life, and everybody. We're not judged. We can be judged by individuals, but we're judged for what we are. And you had a very, very difficult. I'm very sad to hear. Very difficult upbringing, and it led you into a violent life, into a criminal life. But you're not really a violent man. You just learned how to defend yourself. That reputation, for me, led you into somebody. I won't use the word notoriety, but somebody who got noticed in that field, and you was introduced as a staunch person, and that's where your career was.
yeah.
And that's where we're all at today.
Well, when my book of life gets written or wrote, whatever the right word is, I'm going to ask him if mine can do it. He writes a good book.
He writes a good book. Well, he might get us all upstairs. Who knows? So here it is. It's available. In the Far East, it's available on all the main Amazons, all the main bookstores, Tesco, and so on and so on and so on. So I hope you've enjoyed the chat. There won't be a proper chat until we introduce. Just bring in a really, really close friend of yours, Del Stratt, who's really, really worked hard and got you around different places and supported you. And I know he's a good friend just a good friend. I think we better get him in. Del, would you come in and say hello to the camera? No, you stay in, Martin.
Stay in.
Yeah.
I don't
You
really
through round here, Del, if you can.
Just leave you.
They want you to give a song, Bill,
This song, yeah, do that.
or explain about Pyle Mash.
Yeah.
Best pie and mash shop. Del, that's what you got to tell
Yeah,
me.
so it's Del.
Talk
Oh,
Hello, Joe.
thanks, Del, and
You're all right, mate.
again for being part of. There's just many things going on here, and I'm just a minnow fish of the channels. All the big ones are out there, all the national papers. So see it. So I'd say, well, thanks for tuning in. Here is the message for you young wannabe criminals. Don't bother doing it. What was that saying your great friend Joey Pyle had? The pay's good at the holidays. Or
Yeah. He said, pay's good. Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah, as a short.
Yeah, the pay's good, the hours are short, but the holidays are bloody long.
So thanks for tuning in. I'm sure you enjoyed Mr. Company of Mr. Martin Knight, Mr. Ronnie Field, and the support of great friend Del Stratt. In the meantime,